Honda has finally unveiled the second-generation BR-V. Its arrival was foreshadowed by the N7X Concept that was shown to us earlier in May, featuring a fully redesigned front fascia, a range of other upgrades, plus a massive bump in safety features. But first, let's talk about the design. If you've seen the concept, then you know that it's pretty much a carbon copy of it. The redesign makes the car appear a little bigger in pictures, but its exact dimensions have not been disclosed as yet. In any case, you can expect the cabin to be slightly roomier and its overall footprint to be larger than before. The fascia is much more masculine this time. It looks more rugged thanks to the more upright grille and longer bonnet, giving it a more conventional SUV look, from the front, at least. Unlike the outgoing BR-V, the solid wing face is much less heavy on the use of chrome, and the chrome strip now blends right into headlights. Speaking of which, the range-topping version appears to get reflector LED headlights, and the LED DRLs now sit at the top of the headlights and kink downwards at the edges. There's also what looks like LED fog lamps and a pretty pronounced silver skid plate further down. Other obvious changes include a smoother sidebody with an uninterrupted shoulder line, which stretches from the headlights all the way to the taillights. The lower window line is also completely straight now, making it look much cleaner compared to the weird jagged lines on the outgoing model. Other noteworthy design overhauls include the lower profile roof rails, a rear spoiler, tidier plastic claddings, bigger 17-inch dual-tone alloy wheels, and horizontal reflectors at the bottom of the rear bumper. The powertrain is also upgraded. The 1.5-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine now gets dual overhead cams, generating 121 PS and 145 Nm of torque. It's only 1 PS more than before, but an upgrade is an upgrade. The engine producing 120 horsepower at 6,600 revolutions per minute and 107 pound-feet, 145 Nm of torque from 4,300 revolutions per minute. Output is channeled to the front wheels through a CVT, which Honda says is new and more efficient. The biggest upgrade to the BR-V has to be its safety features. All variants of the new BR-V will get 6 airbags as standard, whereas the range-topping Prestige model can be had with Honda Sensing. This introduces features such as adaptive cruise control, autonomous emergency braking, lane keeping assist, lane centering assist, front departure alert, automatic high beam, and Honda Lane Watch. Interestingly, the layout of the dashboard remains very familiar with the previous generation model. There are clear revisions made across the cabin, but the cockpit and center stack with the top-mounted air vents have the same general layout as before, making it look a bit like the CR-V. The instrument cluster is completely new this time, with 2 analog gauges plus a colored multi-info display in the middle. The multi-function steering wheel looks chunkier with a squarish center boss, and the infotainment display is a small 7-inch unit with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity. Other new features include remote engine start, walk-away auto lock, center armrest for the first and second row seats, and charging sockets for all 3 rows. The feeling of comfort while driving is now also supported by a leather handrest between the front seats. The position of the handrest on this car feels just right. Because there are some cars whose front handrest is too low or too backward, but not on the all-new Honda Bridge V. Meanwhile, the right elbow can lean against the curve of the door trim, which also happens to be covered with a special leather material for this section. The rest, door trim is still dominated by plastic materials. So is the dashboard. However, for the dashboard there is a little leather on the front passenger side which is combined with a piano black color. The instrument panel design of this car is new with the addition of a TFT screen in the middle. While the steering wheel is filled with audio steering buttons on the left side and cruise control and Honda sensing functions on the right. For cars in the BRV class, the majority of owners still drive it alone. Therefore, the treat behind the steering wheel deserves a lot of attention. Starting from the entry access. Although now the BRV is taller, the interior floor height is still reasonable. Not as high as one might feel on the Rush. In the Prestige variant, the seats are made of leather as well as the steering wheel. When in the driver's seat, the sitting position is relatively low for the size of the LSUV. Unless you set the seat at maximum height. Overall, the all-new Honda Bridge V has a 7-seater passenger capacity. One of the advantages of the middle row of this car is the presence of 3 adjustable headrests. This is not owned by Xpander Cross and XL7. In this latest generation, the second row of BRV seats are also equipped with handrests. Just like the 2 rivals. It's just Rush that doesn't have this feature. Apart from this, the middle seat of the all-new Honda Bridge V can be adjusted back and forth plus recline settings. Headroom is not a problem even for an editorial crew who is 180 centimeters tall. Meanwhile, the legroom is quite reasonable. For the comfort aspect, there is a double blower AC which is mandatory for 3-row bench cars. Passengers in the middle seat also get a 12-volt power outlet whose position is on the center console. Then each passenger also gets a 3-point seatbelt. In this review of the all-new Honda Bridge V, we don't forget to try the feeling of sitting in the 3rd row. Access to the back seat is relatively easy. Because the middle seat can be folded with just one pull of the lever whose position is on the side of the seat. The position of the 3rd row seats cannot be adjusted back and forth. But fortunately, it can still recline even though the fall is not too much. For the available space, you can see for yourself in the photo above. The member of our editorial team in the video is 180 centimeters tall. The feeling of sitting in the back row is still helped by the adjustable headrest. Passengers in the back seat also got a 12-volt power outlet near the window on the right. Passengers in the back seat also each get a 3-point seat belt. In this generation, finally the all-new BRV trunk can be folded flat on the floor. Competing with the practicality that was previously offered by its rivals, namely the Xpander Cross and XL7. To fold it, the user just pulls the rope behind the 3rd row bench. If you want more relief, just fold the middle row as well. Then this car will provide a very large cargo space with a relatively flat surface. The Honda Bridge V has clearly changed a lot from the previous generation. The aspect of comfort increases and the practicality also increases. About the design that becomes more elegant depending on the taste of the person who judges. However, what is certain is that the all-new Honda Bridge V provides many advantages. Moreover, now this LSUV is also equipped with the Honda Sensing Active Safety feature.